Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back for another Total War video with the Terminator. Today I'm going to be covering a mod called Agamemnon's Ambitions. As the name suggests here, it is a historical overhaul mod for a Total War Saga Troy being developed by Cam2150, who, if you don't know, is the prominent developer behind Et Impera for Rome 2. So this is a big deal, guys, and the whole reason why I want to cover it today is because the historical game mode for Troy is, in my opinion anyway, pretty lackluster, pretty stripped down from the rest of the game. So I'm waiting for mods like this to overhaul it, to make it more challenging, more realistic, enjoyable, and this, for me, is the first of its kind, and it's being developed by a guy who's done some insanely good work for Et Impera. So it all should ring alarm bells if you're interested in the game and you're interested in the historical mode, because this is what we've all kind of been waiting for it, really. It's also available both on the Steam Workshop and the Epic Games Store, guys. So if you have the game on either platform, it is available there. It's released. You can try it today, and it's got some great changes, guys. So today in this video, I'm going to be running through some of these key changes here and in the game to show you some of the more hands-on stuff, and some of the future stuff that are coming for the mod as well, and why you need to give it a try, essentially. So let's get started. The mod combines a few other mods that Cam has already made for Troy, including some animation mods, some immersive combat mods as well. The battle camera mod has been ported over as part of this mod. And on top of all of that, it does some visual changes to the faction units of Mycenae. In the future, it will be making a lot more changes to other factions as well. It's done a lot of economy building and technology overhauls. Some expansion mechanics as well have changed, which all make it a lot more realistic and really enjoyable. Essentially, the philosophy behind the mod is the Bronze Age isn't as well researched as we'd like it to be, which means that the vanilla heavily armored units in late game, as well as, you know, the heavily armored units in the bodyguard, for example, early game, is just, there's some unrealistic aspects to vanilla Troy historical that some of this tries to address. So I'll show you in a bit as well in the game. But for example, Agamemnon's bodyguard, you'll see there's a lot more variety between each of the individual units because they're not all heavily armored as they are in vanilla. So something really interesting about this mod. But yeah, so it does a lot of really great things, guys, that we'll go into the game now and have a look. So first things first, let's start with the campaign. You'll notice, for me, one of the most important things is the the march distance has been reworked so that forced march now is not that much of a big difference between your normal march. So if you're going after an army that's running away from you, you have a much better chance of catching up to it. That's the first major change. The second major change is the kind of rebalancing between building construction costs, the yield from resource buildings, your recruitment costs, and administration tiers, and how that all works together. So recruitment costs are a lot more expensive now. If you want to recruit things, you need a lot more food. So keep that in mind. But at the same time, you've got buildings that are a lot more expensive to build. So if you want to build a farm building, for example, you need a lot more resources to build that. But it all kind of balances out with the fact that the resource buildings give you a lot more resources. So that's really important. Things are more expensive overall, but as you expand out, you get access to resources and the resource buildings with them that give you a lot more in the long term. So it all kind of balances out. As well as that, when you take a city, you have the occupy, the loot, the sack, and I think you have the raise options as well. And they all provide a lot more resources as well. So as well as, I think, public order costs. So if we go back to the Steam page for a second here, in the expansion mechanic here, reworked occupation, loot, sack, and raise options. So occupation is best long-term, but comes with large public order. A nice little change there. Loot and occupation gives resource bonus that will help you develop the conquered city, which is really nice. But sack and raise provides a lot more of the different types of resources that you could get with these options, making it a lot more realistic, which is really, really nice. It really does a great job of overhauling how you go about expanding, like what you need to prioritize in terms of, right, I'm going to go ahead and take Turin's, and then I'm going to sack it, and then I'm going to move north and I'm going to raise Corinth and occupy Stymphalos. Do you know what I mean? It adds a lot more incentive to really understand how you're going to deal with the cities that you've just conquered. Yeah, so that's those are the kind of the main changes coming into the campaign mode at the moment. This whole reworked administration, construction cost, recruitment, conquering expansion kind of system, which is really, really nice to see. And a lot more of this is going to be developed in the future as well, with character loyalty getting an overhaul, influence getting an overhaul as well, and more of the other mechanics as well, I'm sure. I mean, Cam 2150 with his work on Et Impera, I'm sure his ambitions for this mod for Troy are great, because it has the potential to be a great game mode for Troy. And then let's quickly go into the battle mode so we can have a look at these units, which look a lot better, guys, compared to vanilla. Some really key changes have happened into how units look visually for Mycenae, this faction, how units overall in the game act in terms of formations, unit spacing. I don't want rain. There we go. And it's just a lot more impressive. So I'm just going to move these guys over here, and we can get a closer look at how they look up close and personal, starting with the bodyguard units here. And the first thing you will notice is the lack of armor. And it's so good, because it leads to that, as I said, that increased variation between each individual. So there's a lot more like helmet variation. There's a lot more naked men versus armored men, the different types of armor as well. And it lends itself a little bit to that idea contextually that armored individuals have gotten their armor from their heritage, from their familial passing down of the armor from their forefathers. So it's really, really cool. There's a lot more variation in terms of the different types of shields, faces, the weapons that they use as well. So really, really good stuff. And you can see that in the other units from Mycenae as well. Different types of helmets here. Each unit now has this officer unit, as you can see, which is a very, very nice change. I really did not like that vanilla Troy didn't have officers in each individual unit. So that's really, really well done and appreciated, Cam, if you're watching this. And the different, yeah, you can see the variations very clearly for each unit, and you can see the unit spacing. It's a lot more tight-knit as well, which is really good to see. And let's just play for a second and move a unit just to see how they move as well. It's a bit slower. There's a bit more of a natural pace to it, which is nice to see. Units were a lot faster before, which lended itself to a much more kind of faster battle gameplay mode. And then let's move these guys up here so we can have a look at the gameplay animations. Now, as we have our units moved up now a little bit, we can have a look at the missile animations coming in. So you can see all these guys getting hit, but not many of them really are flying up in the air. That's the first major change. So that missile hit only affecting, really, it's affecting units to have that kind of on the ground death animation, which is really, really nice. We're getting these units up close and personal now. Looks like they're retreating, oddly enough. I want to get these guys in the fray so we can get some close combat, and there we go. Close combat animations. Here we go. Yeah, you can see that. It is so much more upscaled. I mean, there's a lot more animations happening overall. I mean, I felt like before Troy definitely did suffer a little bit from a lack of animations in battle generally. So this is really, really nice to see. It just lends itself again to that immersive gameplay that battles should have had right from the get-go. I mean, there wasn't as much diversity to begin with in terms of how units look, but now, especially with the animations, how, like, I mean, formations are still trying to be kept up, but there's a bit more blobbing than I'd like to see. And it all just kind of works out. It's really, really nice to see these animations come together. The close combat, matched combat happening as well, which is really nice. So yeah, that's battles for you guys. I mean, this is pretty much essentially the gist of the mod here. And if we go back to the Steam page to get a bit more detail into what's coming next, There's going to be some more animation work coming for new ones, as well as improving others. We're going to get some more, as I said, visual rework for the rest of the factions and their units. The public order, motivation, and influence systems are all going to be reworked as well. So a lot more interesting stuff coming for the mod as well, and for the historic mode. And that's really important, guys. All of this needs to happen because Troy Historical has a lot of potential, and it's a very moddable game. And to see this happen already is really, really promising. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the video here, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're informed by this great mod already released. You can access it and play it yourself. Link to the mod here in the Steam Workshop and on the Epic Game Store is in the description for you below. You can join the mods Discord as well to keep up with announcements, to talk to Camille himself, Cam2150, to let him know about any bugs or appreciate the mod. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. And yeah, I really hope you enjoy the mod. I think you'll enjoy it a lot more with some of the other mods here as well. So things like the hero resize mod. I think actually that resizes it as well, so no worries there. But the season effects for Troy is super, super impressive. Really, really nice visual rework of the campaign map. And it's made by Phallus Darkblade, aka my main man, Happy Compy TW. So if you're a big fan of him, definitely try out this mod as well with the Agamemnon'S Ambitions Overhaul mod together, and with a few others. They're really, really good mods that can really overhaul the game into something that's a bit more enjoyable, and hopefully we see a lot more come from this mod in the future. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Give it that like, drop any questions or thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news. And thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.